Cooking with Mama Bear. I'm your host, Mama Bear, and today we're making chocolate mug cake. You're gonna love it. Before you start though, ask your parent or guardian, can you cook in the kitchen? Once they say yes, then you can start. So let's start by first washing our hands. Okay, today's ingredients, you're gonna need 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour or regular flour, 4 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon, or actually 2 teaspoons of pudding powder. You're gonna need a half of an egg, and I'll talk about how do you get a half egg. Next, you're gonna need a 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of chocolate syrup, or in this case I have hot fudge topping. You'll need 3 tablespoons oil. Then you also need a big ceramic mug to bake your cake in the microwave. The chocolate chips are optional. You will need thicker, heavier milk, like half and half, and you will need 3 tablespoons of that, or like whole milk, or at least 2% milk. Do not use skim milk. With the salt, you'll need a pinch of salt. Oh, you will also need a bowl, a spoon to scoop out this hot fudge topping, and a fork to whisk the egg. Okay, first we're going to start with the egg, and you'll notice I have it in some water, and I didn't cook it, I didn't boil it, but I put my egg, I took it right out the refrigerator, I filled up the bowl with a little bit of warm water, and I let it sit for maybe 10-15 minutes. It brings your egg up to room temperature, and then you have a fluffier, more lighter texture baked product. So whenever you make muffins, cakes, or even cookies, you can try this trick, and then you will have a fluffier product. So I'm going to pour this water out. Okay, so now we have my egg, and we are going to break it. So we're going to get this half egg. So I'm going to break my shell, and I'm going to gently put it in my dish. And I'm going to put my shell in my little trash can, which is really ice cream bucket. Now, you're going to whisk your egg. So you're going to beat up your yolk, that's the yellow part, and the whites, which is the clear part, until it's pretty uniform in color. And then your egg, each egg is approximately 1/4 of a cup. So 1/4 of a cup equals 4 tablespoons. I'm just going to take this tablespoon. So what I'm going to do is if I have 4 and I divide it in half, I have 2 left. So if I have 2 tablespoons, that's your half egg. So I'm going to put that in my bowl. It's kind of slimy, so it's going to move around. You're trying to get it to the top. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's 1. Yeah, that's not all the way full. Ooh, almost. Okay, and here's 2. Now you can save the rest of your half egg if you make another one, or if you have scrambled eggs or something. So I'm going to put this to the side because we don't need that anymore. Okay, next I'm going to do my wet ingredients in this bowl. So I'm going to use half and half, or cream, but this is half and half. And so I need 3 tablespoons. Let's see here. I'm going to use this one. So 3. So I always like to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, because sometimes I forget and I do not want to mess up. So I've got my milk, or my half and half, I'm sorry. And then next we need our oil. So 3 tablespoons of oil. So I'm going slow so I don't overspill or overfill it and get it too much ingredient in my bowl. So here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, my next wet ingredient or liquid ingredient is vanilla. I always call this my special secret weapon, or special secret ingredient. So I'm going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of this, and this will give it a nice flavor and it'll smell good when it's cooking in the microwave. So there's 1/4. Okay, now I'm going to take my fork again and I'm going to whisk these wet ingredients or liquid ingredients together. The oil is going to tend to rise to the top of the cream or the half and half and the egg, and that's okay. As long as it looks pretty uniform. It smells good. One day we'll have smell-o-vision or something like that, and you can smell it. Okay, so that's good, and I'm going to put this to the side. Okay, next I'm going to take my big fat mug. Make sure when you do this that you get a big, hefty, larger, taller mug, so when your cake starts to rise in the microwave, it doesn't spill all over the place. You're going to mix together your dry ingredients. So we need 4 tablespoons. This is all-purpose regular flour. I'm just going to shake this a little bit to level it off. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we need 4 tablespoons of white sugar. 1, 2, and I'm leveling it by just shaking it back and forth. 3, 4. Next, I'm going to need 1 tablespoon of baking cocoa, and I just want to show you guys what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Normally comes in a can like this. It looks like this brown powder on the inside, and it looks a lot like hot cocoa pack powder, but it's not. This has no sugar in it. So I'm going to get 1 tablespoon of that. And then this pudding is, it's called optional. That means you don't have to add it. But when I've made it in the past, when this cake cools down, it tends to get kind of dry. And so the pudding powder keeps it moist. So we just need 1 teaspoon of pudding powder. You can use any flavor. I could have grabbed chocolate, but vanilla is not universal. Okay, so I have a little bit more than what I need. Okay, I'll go for this. I'm going to shake that back and forth. Okay, and I'm going to put this in here. So if I did this with a different flavored cake, I can still use this vanilla pudding powder. Okay, so I'm going to stir this up, and I will just use this little regular spoon, and I'm going to stir or mix this up till it looks well combined. While I'm stirring this, I'm going to tell you, why do we use a half egg? Normally when I see recipes for mug cake, they use a whole egg, and I've done that, but it tastes so eggy, or it just tastes like there's a lot of egg flavor coming through. So I changed the recipe a little bit, and I used the half an egg and a little more of the half and half or the heavy whipping cream or thick milk like whole milk to give it the extra liquid that it was missing, because I took some of the egg out. Okay, this looks pretty good. So now I think we are ready to put, oh wait, one more thing, a pinch of salt. So I'm going to move my mug up. A pinch means you put a little salt in your hand, just a little bit. And a pinch means whatever you can get between your thumb and your forefinger or your index finger. So I'm just going to pinch, and see that salt in between there? You're going to shake it around or swirl it around. Now this, I've seen people and they throw it over their shoulder, but we don't make messes, so no, this is going in the trash, my trash can, because we are not making a mess. Okay, so I just need to stir this one more time to make sure all that salt gets in here. Okay, I think we're ready to put it together. Now the recipe doesn't say to spray this mug, so we're just going to follow the recipe. So now we're going to pour our liquid ingredients into our mug. We're going to use this fork where I whisked together the egg and the cream and the vanilla and the oil. And so I could use a regular whisk, but this mug is not super big, so a fork does the job just fine. So I'm making sure that I'm going all the way around the edge and at the bottom to make sure I don't have any dry powder. And it looks like I've got it all. Yes, we are ready for baking. Now we're going to actually bake this in the microwave. Oh, I forgot. If you want to add some extra oomph to it or some extra flavor, you can add some of this hot fudge topping, or you can use chocolate syrup. Okay, is this gonna fit in there? Okay, there we go. This just gives it more chocolatey flavor. This looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I should have mixed that in with the liquid ingredients, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. Okay, so this is getting a little messy, but that's okay. Okay, so now, okay, hot fudge. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my fork and kind of mash this in a little bit. Oh, that looks so good. I'm just stirring this around my fork. Okay, that looks pretty uniform. If you want another level of chocolatey goodness, you can add some chocolate chips. It's totally up to you how much you want to add. So, okay, this had cocoa powder on it. My hands are getting dirty. So I will add, these are like mini chips and regular chips. So I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. And I think the weight of them makes them, we'll do 2 tablespoons. We'll be generous. I think the weight of these sinks down at the bottom. So they probably will not be at the top when it comes out of the microwave. So we are now ready to go into the microwave. We're going to put this on high or regular power setting, like power setting 9 or 10, and we're going to microwave for 5 minutes. I checked it at the 3-minute mark, and I put the toothpick in, and you guys see this toothpick? It's kind of streaked, and that means it's still not quite done. So I did it to the 5-minute mark. Now, when you poke your toothpick in the center, try to skip all the chocolate because it'll streak on there. So I'm putting in the cake, I'm pulling it out, and it comes out clean. There's a few crumbs, but that's okay. So it is ready. Can you guys see that? The chocolate chips didn't sink to the bottom like I thought, but that's okay. It's at the top. So this is ready. It's super warm though. It's super hot. So make sure you have like an oven mitt or a pot holder to put it on, especially if your table is plastic like this one. So I hope you enjoyed this cooking lesson today. Make sure that you come back another time, and thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, stay and look while you cook.